everybody. It's Jenny Lee Secon here with our speaker today again, Wanda Lusman. Hi, Wanda.
Hi, Jenny.
Yeah, I bring Wanda back today with me for this Soulful Women's Journey video series, the new episode. We will continue our topic on how to process grief, the grief and the loss when we experience them in our life. So, Wanda, I love to recap a little bit about what we shared last time because some people might not have heard or watched our video and our content yet. And then, if you haven't yet, welcome to our video channel to check our last one. It's in our Soulful Women's Journey playlist. So then we're gonna start to focus today more on processing our grief and the loss. And if we don't, what could happen? Okay, so last time we shared about honoring and respect our human natural feelings because we human are just like so harsh to ourselves. When we experience these kind of events of loss and a grief, that's huge thing. It's really like pulling the flesh away from your body. It's just that painful. So we really need to honor ourselves and to respect those natural feelings and allow these feelings, emotions to flow so that we can allow healing to happen. We do need some healing during that kind of processing, the stage of our life. So it's all about honoring and respecting. So today we're gonna share like during this procedure, how to process. So I love, before we got on, you just shared with me something. I really love what you said. I think I am going to give it back to you, Chris. You mentioned just now about human just what the words you used, shied away or peel away, when they are experiencing the really the biggest painful feeling probably we could have, right? So can I just give it back to you and share with a little bit?
Sure. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Last time we talked a little bit about that first stage of shock and denial and numbing. And when you move into the next phase is where the really painful feelings start breaking through. And because it is so intense, we often do shy away and push back from experiencing that really heavy emotion. And of course, it's normal. Nobody wants to be in that kind of pain. And so I don't remember the exact words I used, but
you did mention peel away the feelings and shied away, right? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just so intense. So we kind of do pull away from all of that when we're in the next stage of feelings.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. So when this stage finally we start to really feel it, so our normal human reaction response sometimes it's not really to be able to even stay there, right? So we try to find all different things, different ways to either disconnect or to numb. So we have quite a lot of things to do to help us about that, right? So I like to share my experience. So when
Mm-hmm.
I went through the stage of my mother's, like, lying down on the dying bed for 3 years in a, coma state, for me, it's really kind of chronic loss and painful, and I felt so unfair. But for me back then, I was still younger and I had all these energy to burn. I just felt like I cannot just focus on that. I'm a positive person. I do coaching myself. I would not have negative feelings, or I just kept pushing myself to even work harder. I was already overwhelmed, jumping everywhere. My son was really young, so I just kept working harder so that, I don't have time to really connect with that. So literally, I didn't know back then, but I didn't really process that. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, my pain, for my grief, it was even stronger during the whole period when my mom was in coma state. Then the final moment when she 3 years later passing away, because this is like, nothing new, whatever. So it was more like that. But during the whole time when I kept pushing, working harder, I didn't know that I was over, worked, and my
Mm-hmm.
body could not take it anymore. So years later, I felt like I developed health issues. I didn't have energy. I could not work anymore on different projects I, took before. I could not do that many more projects. So I had to, work less or so. Finally, other issues because of the stress, right? And, health, and then relationship, and then work, money issue, all just came up. So I was angry. I was that, but I didn't know that I should really honor myself to deal with the real feelings that started from the first place. I didn't. So that's why a lot of health issues came up. And finally, I had to quit my job. I said, I was not like very, uh, I would say I reluctantly. Okay. So finally did that because I didn't have any other choices. I didn't have energy. I was
Mm-hmm.
ill. So finally, I had to confront myself. This was the time, wake up call, finally, my divine, my God, puts me into the new path finally. I need to heal myself, find the tools, heal myself and come out. And now I'm here doing this new kind of job to help people like
Mm-hmm.
me or kind of similar situation going through. So that's my story. So it will eventually cause some imbalance in our physical body system and also
Mm-hmm.
misalignment as who we really are and
Mm-hmm.
our intention, what we really want to do. That will involve the next step, maybe next topic, the meaning, the purpose after going through all, right? So that's my story. I didn't process all the feelings I pushed down. So do you mind, Wanda, if I ask you to share with us a little bit of your story, your process, how you
Sure.
handled, did you process at all what you went through?
Sure. Yeah. When I started breaking through the denial and started really feeling, I felt very alone. It was a huge change in my lifestyle to come home to an empty home.
Mm,
And I really always hated being alone. So that was like kind of a really huge pain for
Yes.
me.
Yes.
And because I didn't want to feel that, I felt very, very sorry for myself. And what's funny, not haha funny, but ironic, is when you feel sorry for yourself, it kind of places you in a victim
Oh yeah.
situation. And so what happened, not I didn't realize it at the time, but on hindsight, I was pushing people away.
Yes.
I had really a sister-in-law who I never had crosswords with her before, and I just sort of jabbed right at her and she jabbed right back and everything blew up, and it was very awful. And but I mean, I was very raw,
Oh, of course.
so I wasn't processing properly, and so just everything hurt. I was a poor victim, and so I push. And then actually with my parents too, another incident
Yes.
around that same time where I just got very wounded by something I overheard, I misunderstood, totally blew up, left in anger. And so it took some time for those relationships to be rebuilt, and I'm happy to say they have been since then. But that was my initial raw,
Yes.
painful
Yes.
experience where I didn't want to feel it. So
Yes.
I guess kind of projected on other people
Oh yeah.
a rejection from them, and
Oh
then
yes.
caused it to happen.
Oh yeah. And I appreciate your sharing your real story, and this
Hmm.
victim, state. It's
Hmm.
so real because for a certain degree we were, right? People
Hmm.
go through, they are victim, from some events in life or so at the moment.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so it's okay. So now we came out, we would say it's okay we feel that way because it
Yes.
feels so real. We are.
Hmm.
But the
Yes.
thing is, finally we could come out
Hmm.
after a natural period of time. So we could accept and feel it, admit our feelings, not admit our weakness. It's like we are weak. That's why we feel, as a victim. It's not like that at all. We just cannot emphasize that, enough, right?
Enough.
It's just
Hmm.
human feelings. It's natural feelings. No matter
Yeah.
what your age and gender is, especially for gentlemen, if you are watching here, right? Gentlemen
Hmm.
especially, no, we don't want to be vulnerable, weak, or whatever. Men should not cry. Boys are taught, when they were young, like that. So definitely we want to honor, no matter the feeling is like really deep sorrow, sad, hopeless, helpless, victimized, and
Hmm.
guilty, because
Yes.
really the most difficult thing other than the sorrow and the grief, it's really like so powerless because
Hmm.
we, at the second stage, many people maybe still stay in the stage trying to rationalize, right?
Yes.
To put some meaning. How come it could happen? Or then, those, statement comes up like, what if? So this
Hmm.
is huge guilty feeling. What if I don't do this? I didn't do that. What if somebody or whatever, or timing wise, so it's still like, it's very, very natural. We will be, we will get stuck in that shocking moment. And then
Hmm.
all these feelings, when we could really confront them and process, maybe we just cry and talk, or even anger, like
Hmm.
you mentioned. We just
Hmm.
express our anger. It's okay. So last time we also mentioned as family members or friends, how we can support the person who is going through the process of grief and loss. So we just acknowledge their feelings, and you can be angry. Yes. When they
Hmm.
react, respond like that, we need to know it's not personally towards us. It's
Right.
really, really their real feelings. The best thing we can do is just be there, feel for them, and go through wisdom together. Let them
Mm-hmm.
have the freedom to express and let out of those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we also mentioned, and I want to mention this again, the grief and the loss we experience as human could be loss of the loved ones, adults. Really, a lot of the time, it's like lost the love of life.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes for children or whatever, for parents, all. And it could be the loss of pets.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I know, I mean, sorry, Wanda, I know you are going through some kind of, stage right now dealing with your sick pets, but pets
Mm-hmm.
also really, really accompany our life like our loved ones. And
Mm-hmm.
also not just lost a life. Sometimes, people broke up in their relationships
Yeah.
with
Mm-hmm.
one they loved or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, or when they experience betrayal, hurtful feelings, they could
Mm-hmm.
also experience and go through the similar, procedure, the steps, because we human connected really through emotions, through love. When the love emotion tie, energy is like cut and a broke, it's
Mm-hmm.
really literally almost like, the fresh being taken away from our body. It's
Mm-hmm.
so, so painful. That's why people feel so painful.
Yeah.
So, talking to this point, do you have anything to add? Well, Wanda, like on this?
Yeah, I agree. All those different kinds of losses bring us grief. And, the thing is, the relationships we have with the different people or pets or, whatever, often dictate the grief process. We will not grieve every relationship the same way.
Yes.
Each one will bring its own thing. And whether the relationship was positive or negative, or there were some unresolved things, or great wonderful blessing relationships that have been lost, we process it all differently. So you can't just have a blanket, this is how I deal with grief. Each time you have to honor that process and those feelings for that particular loss.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, good reminder. So when we process this natural, human kind of procedure, it's really like, I like to recap several steps. It's all
Mhm.
mixed up together. We mentioned this already. So the first stage, again, it's shocking, denial, numbing, and
Mhm.
then, really the real grief, sorrow, deep sorrow, sadness,
Mhm. Mhm.
hopelessness, helplessness, and the confusion.
Mhm.
So lost, emptiness.
Mhm.
So all of these, right? Guilty feeling,
Mhm.
and sometimes even, some prideness.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just
Yes.
all inclusive, all unfairness, like my
Yes.
biggest thing. So
Mhm.
all the discomfort. And also when we go through that, we could, like at the same time experience some, physical issues as well, headaches,
Mhm.
insomnia, whatever, body pains. They are all okay and normal. We just know it's
Yes.
the procedure, it's the
Mhm.
process. But
Mhm.
if we don't process, things will really finally come out. Those feelings, those just natural human energies will finally find their own ways to come out, to show us. If we push them down, suppress them, hide them, don't let them out. So allow me to share some couple of cases, like, when I helped my clients deal with these kind of things. And, so many years later, when I help people, we didn't even work on grief, but work on some other health issues or other relationship issues, or get stuck in life, in career, even finding the job, more meaningful job, or whatever, that kind of things, right? And process those issues, pressing issues now. But the deep layers of grief sometimes will suddenly show up, without knowing, without their conscious minds, like awareness. So suddenly those kind of past grief will start to show up. And now, suddenly they feel the feelings. And the feelings they feel at this moment now, after so many years, they just feel like it's almost like they are still there.
Yes.
In those moments, they literally feel like, I am shocked. I am in that moment. And many people, if you are also going through this, please, I just say that show the result, experiences, and real cases, hopefully not trigger you too much. But many people feel the heart wounds, and they feel like, the pain could be like stabbing pain. It's almost because I didn't prepare myself. I didn't see it coming. People like lost their pets. They could feel like my heart almost like was shredded into pieces, whatever. That's, what people experienced. But they didn't know. It happened like when they were a child. After so many years, at their 50, 60 years old even, they could still have these kind of events, show up, come up, and experiencing those kind of feelings. And those feelings actually, sometimes block them from moving into the new relationships and moving to the new direction of their life, and cause them sick.
Yeah.
And some of those experiences are like, those people don't know, they do want to move forward, starting the new life, but unconsciously they are still holding on to those shocking moments, the sorrow moments. And then when we do the work, we finally found that subconsciously some people didn't want to let go of this grief, because for them it means the love connection.
Yes.
If they let go of them, I'm not sure you had this experience or not.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yes. So it's just normal. People will feel like, if I let go, I don't feel the grief. And then maybe I don't love them anymore.
Right.
I will lost the connection. I want to still connect with them. But you know what? What we are healing and letting go here, it's just the grief emotion. But spiritually, we are still connected in love. Love is the spirit and the emotions. Nothing can disconnect. Nothing cannot penetrate. Love penetrates everything. So that's the other big one. People unconsciously didn't want to let go. They don't want to disconnect.
Right.
And the other thing, subconsciously, people had some purpose, like, I still want to hold on to this because I'm still waiting for them to say something to me.
Yes.
They promised me something before they passed away, or they wanted to do something, or I wanted, or whatever. So it's almost, we don't know, but subconsciously we got stuck there. We didn't realize, like, we actually don't want to let it go because I'm still waiting for him to say he loved me, or for my mother and father to say he loves me, or whatever, that kind of thing. But that happens a lot in real life.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is very true. I did absolutely experience that.
Yeah.
So
So for
good
you,
point.
I guess also stay in that kind of state for quite several months, huh? At least.
Yeah, I would say that was like a year and a half before
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
able to let go.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
see? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A year and a half, it's kind of normal, or we'll say it's kind of, still not too slow, right? For some
Right.
people, it just
Mm-hmm.
impacted their life totally. For many, many years, they still could not come out,
Mm-hmm.
so it's normal again. Don't
Yes.
judge yourself. And the
Mm-hmm.
only thing is we need to learn how to honor, process, let them out. Oh, one big thing. It's almost the end for our talking today, but one big thing, for many rational, logical, mind oriented person and strong leaders in the organization, or some people you can tell, from the natural disaster, those kind of events after that, they jump in to help everybody. They are really
Mm-hmm.
heroes, right? So they
Yes.
don't, show any kind of weakness or so.
Mm-hmm.
Totally, we love them, respect them, whatever. But after the whole thing is settled, after everybody is settled, these people finally have the time to come down, to confront themselves. You watch many of
Mm-hmm.
them, even though they didn't show up, they didn't speak up in public, but they do go through stage of depression
Yeah.
because they suppress what they need to be expressed.
Mm-hmm.
Depression and anger, they didn't, express. So
Mm-hmm.
that's actually humanity wise, right? For human, it's not
Yeah.
very healthy for ourselves. So if you are a leader, if you are a strong, tough person, people still need you, your family needs you, your team needs you, but you need to take care of yourself. Find
Mm-hmm.
some tools, ways to release and heal. It's the natural process. It's the healing, natural process, natural steps to heal, let them out so that finally we could shift. So I think, Wanda, thank you very much. I think it's pretty much for what we could share and talk about today. So I guess next time we will still come back because this procedure, it's difficult and long and it's not
Mm-hmm.
that easy. But the good news is something good could come out from this whole darkness, sorrow, painfulness, grief, right? So
Mm-hmm.
next time when we come back, we will talk about forgiveness or spiritual meaning, spiritual awakening from, process.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, we go through our transformation, find something more
Mm-hmm.
out from that. So thank you everybody for watching. If you feel resonated, you feel like you are experiencing challenges, you need some support, reach out. And we put our contact information there for you to connect. And also let us know your questions and your challenges, what you want us to share so that we could support and serve better. Okay, so Wanda, do you have anything still to add before I let you go?
My last statement
Yes.
is just to put it what you were saying. We have to feel to heal. We've got
Yes.
to feel
Yes.
to
Yes.
heal. So I just wanted to put
Thank you.
that in
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
everyone's
Yeah.
mind. Yeah, as we
Yes.
wrap up. Mm-hmm.
Allow the emotions. Yeah. Or feel the feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Allow healings to happen. Thank you
Yes.
for giving that point.
Yes,
Okay.
you're welcome.
Again, thank you for watching. We will see you next time.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Wanda.